Guys, what is going on? Dylan here. So on March 5th, Bungie is releasing an update to the Prophecy Dungeon where it's taking some weapons out, putting some weapons in, updating it so it is more current with like intrinsic perks and things like that, even changing some of the elements to the different weapons. Some are going to stasis and strand. So what I wanted to do is I just want to make a quick refresher video on the Prophecy Dungeon, just in case you need to know where the secret chests were or how to solo flawless the dungeon. I just wanted to put that all here in a video just to help you so that you're ready for when this update releases. So for the opening bit, what we need to do is we need to kill those orange bars, those taken knights, and they're going to drop 3 motes. Depending on if you're standing in light or in dark, you can tell with the particle effect around the screen. Once you've collected 5 of those motes, you'll get like a large mote, a max mote, which if you use your heavy attack on a plate, you will do this kind of explode thing, quote unquote, capturing the plate. So kind of like a tutorial that sets up the rest of the dungeon here. So killing knights in light and dark and then planting those motes on those plates. For the first encounter, Phalanx Echo, the boss himself is really honestly kind of a pushover. He doesn't have a lot of health and is really easy to one phase. The problem with this one is more so just the survivability getting to the damage phase. You can get booped off the map by the boss. There's tons of ads that can spawn that make your life a living hell. But as far as the encounter goes, it's business as usual. Kill the orange bar taken knight, collect motes. Once you get 5, whether it's light or dark, place it on the applicable plate. And then once you've planted on all 4 plates, damage phase can start. For my loadout, I like to use a Well of Radiance Warlock with healing grenades for survivability and Risk Runner. There's going to be some taken Scions that are going to be hitting you with Arc. You'll constantly have Arc Conductor proc, making ad clear very, very simple. And then for damage, I use the Bequest Sword in my well. Makes it very, very simple. And as far as how to play this encounter, just keep rotating. Try not to go to the middle unless you're going to pick up motes and all the other ads are dealt with. But just stay around the outside, keep rotating, keep on the move, and just try to ad clear before dealing with those knights. Once you've planted on all 4 plates, plant your well at the boss's feet, go to town with your sword. There's plenty of swords you can use here. Bequest is just the one I like with Surrounded and Relentless Strikes. I believe the Nasreddin also gets Surrounded and Relentless Strikes, which is a world drop, great option as well. But there's tons of swords in the game. What I would recommend, though, is putting Taken Spec. If you happen to have Taken Spec from the Last Wish raid, I would recommend putting that on your weapons. That's going to have a higher damage percentage increase than something like Boss Spec. If not, Boss Spec will work fine as well. After the boss gets down to about half health, some goblins will spawn, making him immune. If he is standing in the well, you can still damage him. If not, you will have to deal with those goblins. And that's all. As far as another build goes, I like using my Precious Scars Titan build with Banner of War. Survivability is just insanely good with this build. Damage is not quite there, not like it is with the Well of Radiance, but this is a really, really easy, simple 2-phase. Didn't even break a sweat with this build. There was not even a moment where I thought that I might die. Honestly, it's a very, very, very strong build. So if you're having trouble with survivability, try a Precious Scars Strand build with Banner of War and a sword as well. All right, after you complete the first encounter, you're going to end up in the Wasteland, which is this area here. We're going to be making our way to the very first secret chest. If you head right from the beginning, if you head to the left side over here, there's going to be a little building that has gold sand sitting outside of it. So I like to head all the way to the left here. Might have went left a little too much, but coming up over this hill, if you see this structure here on the left side, there's some gold sand sitting at the entrance. Just make your way inside this entrance, and the first secret chest will be inside. And then as far as what to do in the Wasteland, there's going to be a section that has 3 blights there. What you need to do is destroy those 3 blights, and you need to do this in 3 different areas. For survivability, I would recommend having something with some range. There are some hobgoblins that do snipe that pose a serious threat if you're trying to go for a solo flawless run. And then just bring something that is good for ad clear as well, because there are a lot of taken Scions that spawn here as well. And you can see there's 3 snipers that will spawn in each of these locations. But after you destroy all 3 of the blights, you're going to find Tolan, which is that little floating orb right there. Go ahead and run at him, and he's going to head in the direction of the next 3 blights that you need to take down. There are going to be some invisible Minotaurs that are here. You don't have to deal with those at all. They're just more so there as an inconvenience. So just avoid them. And once you've destroyed those 3 taken blights 3 times, that's 9 total, you will receive a message that says the way is open. Tolan is going to head the direction you need to go, and you need to basically just go to this big structure here and head inside. Which is going to bring us to the second encounter, the cube. Think of this one as like a combination lock. So we're going to be looking for Tolan. You can see him there floating on the wall. We need to make sure and find him on the wall. Down below him is going to be either dark or light. Tolan's up, the plate down below. That is the color mote that we need to get and the plate that we need to plant that on. So just add clear, prioritize the hobgoblins that spawn the snipers around. Those will absolutely ruin your run. They deal a lot of damage, so I would prioritize them. After add clearing enough, a taken knight will spawn. Collect the 5 motes, plant on the plate underneath Tolan, and then run to the middle to take you to the next room. You have to do that 5 or 6 times, basically getting the combination correct. So pick up the motes, go onto the plate here, and then run to the middle, and it will teleport you to the next room. And you're basically trying to progress to each of the, I think it's 5 rooms. In the scenario that you go to the incorrect room, so here I'm doing it wrong, I'm going to the incorrect room, it will take you back to the room that you were in previously, and you have to do it again. So it is 5 unique rooms that you have to go through. I believe it's 5. Once you get through to the correct rooms, and by the way, you'll see it says the realm accepts your actions in like the bottom left. That's how you know what you went to the right room. But once you get to the final room, you're going to get 2 yellow bar centurions that spawn. Once you defeat those centurions, those are kind of your bosses that you have to deal with for this encounter. They're very, very easy to deal with as well. Once you've killed them, then you have completed the second encounter, and making our way to the scariest part of this entire dungeon. But if you take it slow, you'll be okay. So after you collect your loot, you'll head back through the wasteland. You'll head to the other side, following Kel Echo to the other structure that is on the other side, and you'll be going to be going to heaven and hell, apparently. We are going to be making our way to the jumping puzzle portion of this dungeon. So there's 2 ways you can take this. You can either take it via Sparrow, or you can just do a jumping portion of it. And I'm going to show you both of those here in a second. So this is what the Dead Sea area looks like. You can jump down, take a Sparrow onto the ribbon, or you can see there's those floating platforms, and you can jump across those like I am doing here. So you can either, on the bottom right on my Titan, I am jumping from platform to platform, and the top left, I am taking the Sparrow along. The Sparrow is much, 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 much faster, but the jumping, in my opinion, is probably safer. Depends on how good you are at platforming versus how good you are with a Sparrow, but I would imagine this is safer going platform to platform. But our second chest is going to be in this location, our second secret chest. So we're going to be making our way to the final diamond, I guess, that you go through. This is the one just before the end here. So you can see it there in the distance. So you'll know that's the correct one because you'll see the plate on the other side of it, that red plate. So once we make our way inside this diamond, you're going to hop off your Sparrow, and you're going to head to the back right corner over here. And you're going to jump down, and you're just going to follow this path, and this is going to take you to the second secret chest for the dungeon. So jump across here, and this is going to be important because you'll be able to do this with each character to re-roll a potentially new weapon that you get from this dungeon. So, all right, final encounter, Kel Echo. So what this one requires you to do is kind of the culmination of everything. There's going to be these knights here. You have to kill them, collect the motes again. This time it's going to be 3 plates in the 3 corners of the room, I guess, but 3 sections of the room. There's going to be 3 plates. You'll need to pay attention to which ones are dark, light, etc. Once you plant on a plate, a devouring ogre is going to spawn. Make sure you deal with him because he can mess everything up and ruin your run. And you're just going to be planting the plates on each of the 3 sides. Here, just prioritize getting one of the plates captured and then staying safe. Once you plant the 3rd one, you don't actually need to stay, or you don't need to kill the ogre. We're not coming back to this room. If you don't one phase the boss here, you don't go back to the same room. I believe you have a limited number of phases here. I believe it's 4. You have 4 chances to kill the boss. Once you get to this room, there's going to be something called Dark Entropy building on your left. You have to stay close to the boss or else Dark Entropy will build. If it gets too high, you will die. He is also going to be throwing portals at you that will spawn you back at the beginning of the room. So you do need to do your best to avoid those as well. Um, my loadout, my preferred loadout, or what I'm using here is I'm using an Apex Predator. I'm using Malfeasance. Malfeasance is a very underrated exotic, I feel like, for taking bosses. I use this for Warlord's Ruin. I also use it for Kel's Echo because it does a good bit of damage to them without actually using a heavy weapon. And it because you're using an exotic primary, it's building your super back pretty quickly as well. I believe I almost two-phased this. I should have two-phased it, but I believe I messed up or I got teleported back a couple times. But had I not, I would have two-phased it pretty easily. Um, and yeah, just make sure you're going platform to platform. You're chasing Kel Echo, trying to avoid those portals. If you do get teleported back, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. You can just hurry up and run back. Just make sure that you try to get to him as fast as possible. And yeah, because you're going to be on the move so much, that's why I'm using Void here, because I want to use a one-off super that I can just throw and keep doing damage. I wasn't really worried. Not to mention I do have Devour with this build, but I wouldn't recommend anything like a Well because you're not really going to get any use out of it. I wouldn't really recommend. I would strongly recommend like a one-off super. Like Celestial Nighthawk is great. Um, Maybe Thunder Crash for a Titan. I don't know. Titan doesn't really have a lot of one-off supers, but eventually I think this is this is the third damage phase that I get to. After you do enough damage, you will complete the Prophecy Dungeon, and if you did not die during the entire run, you will have solo flawless the dungeon as well. And also getting this 2 secret chests. So if you have any questions, please feel free to leave it in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer any questions you guys have. At the time of this recording, that update is coming out tomorrow, so I'm excited to get those new weapons. That's all I got. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.